y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Robin. Last week I put out an announcement video for the Game of Tomes Readathon that was created by Dasha and that I'm co-hosting with Dasha and Ray. And today I'm here to bring you some recommendations for those prompts. If you want more detailed information about the readathon, I will link the announcement video below along with the website. The website is fantastic and has everything that you will ever want to know about, along with our Twitter, Instagram, and Discord stuff all down below as well. For today, I'm just going to go into what I will be reading and some recommendations. So this readathon is based on a Song of Ice and Fire series, but we're not reading the books in any way unless you'd like to, and you don't need to have read the books or watched the show to participate. The prompts are very generalized so that everyone can participate. And because I read a hodgepodge of genres, all of these books will be from a little bit of everywhere. So our first stop is at Crossroads Inn, where the prompt is a group prompt. The group prompt will be to read an anticipated book. And whatever anticipated means for you, it's a new release, something you've been dying to get to, anything. But for me in particular, I will be picking up A Psalm of Songs and Silence by Roseanne A. Brown. This is the sequel to A Song of Wraiths and Ruin, and it's being released November 2nd. I've been waiting for it since I read the first book last year, and I cannot wait to get my little hands on it. I'm so excited. So that's the first prompt, to read an anticipated book. Now, if you're choosing to go to Winterfell with Dasha and go say hi to the Starks and align yourself with them, your first stop on the way to Winterfell is The Twins. You are going to read a book that has 2 words in the title. I have Fox 8 by George Saunders. It's a short, tiny little book of a thing. I can't tell you what it's about really because it's so short, but you're following the adventures of a little fox and his misadventures and interactions with humans. A second recommendation would be The Grown Up by Gillian Flynn, who I feel like is the queen of uncomfortable situations. This is a thriller where a woman pretends to be a psychic and goes to this house that people think are haunted, and a lot of misgoings-ons happen and just weird, uncomfortable tension. Also a very short book, so I can't tell you a lot. I would also recommend Exit West by Mohsin Hamid. This is about Saeed and Nadia, who are living in this country that's on the brink of civil war, and there are these magical portals that will take them to other parts of the world where they can escape, but they need to make their way to these portals. And it's really about what they go through, trying to find their way into these different parts of the world to get away from their war-torn country, and how they connect with each other and others on this journey. And the last recommendation, if you are partaking in Nonfiction November, where you read nonfiction books in the month of November, I would suggest reading Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer. This is also the Book Community Read pick for November that is run by Jess over at Jess Owens. I'll have that information for Book Community Read and Nonfiction November that's run by a Book Olive down below as well. After you leave The Twins and you've read your 2-word title, you are going to head to Winterfell, where you will read a book with wintry vibes. My quintessential wintry vibe book would be The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. It's a children's classic where you're following these 4 children who find another world on the other side of a wardrobe. I feel like most people know what this is about, but there is a lion, there is a witch, and they're both on the other side of the wardrobe. Now, which one is good and which one is bad? I'm not gonna tell. So, wintry vibes. Second recommendation for wintry vibes is Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. This is a classic murder mystery where in the middle of winter, people are taking this train to get to their destination, And in the middle of this journey, the train is stopped because of a snowdrift. While it is stopped, there is a murder of a very rich American guy. And Hercule Poirot, that's the name of the detective. He has to figure out who done it. It is wonderful, and you're left wondering who murdered this guy, who probably very much deserved it. My last recommendation for wintry vibes is The Child Finder by Renee Dunfield. It is about a little girl who goes missing while looking for a Christmas tree with her family. They turn to a private investigator, Naomi Cottle, to help find this child who's gone missing because she has a way with finding children. And so they're looking for her as snow's falling. It's very atmospheric. You can like feel the cold seeping into your bones, and it's tense and it's thrilling. I will admit it's a little slow paced at times, but it is nonetheless thrilling and will keep you on your toes. Now, if you're not feeling Starky, you can head to find the Targaryen heirs. Neither Ray, Dasha, or myself are going on that path, but I still have some suggestions for you if you want to go find the Targaryen heirs. If you are in search of the Targaryen heir, you will head across the narrow sea, where you will read a book on or near a body of water. My first recommendation for that is The Deep by River Solomon. This is about mer people who are the descendants of the unborn children of slaves that were thrown overboard, of slave ships. And one person is the keeper of memories, and for the entire people, except for once a year, they are allowed to share the memories with all of the mer people, and what that means for her and the community, and knowing, like, you know, all the traumatic things that happen. It's so good. Also, another very short little read. Next, I have Beach Read by Emily Henry. This is about two writers who are rivals with each other. They're complete opposites, and then one summer they end up having beach houses right next to each other, and the only thing that they have in common right now is that they are both having writer's block. So they kind of make a pact or a bet or whatever to write from each other's genres to see like who's the better writer, and then romance and other feelings ensue on the beach, you know, beach read. So, body of water, near a body of water. And my third recommendation for near or on a body of water would be Life of Pi by Yann Martel. This is a story about Pi, who is shipwrecked in the middle of the ocean, and all he has for company is a hyena, an orangutan, a zebra, and a tiger named Richard Parker. How he survives that shipwreck is the story of a lifetime, and calls into questions about how someone can perceive certain life events and what people will do to survive. After crossing the narrow sea, you're going to head to Magister Illyrio Mapetus' house. There you will read a book featuring siblings. First up, I have Yolk by Mary H.K. Choi. This is about two estranged sisters who were once really close, but as they became older and there were just some family issues, kind of drift apart. But they come back together after one of the sisters is diagnosed with cancer, and you see their dynamic from there. Then we have The Children's Crusade by Anne Packer. This is about four siblings, three brothers and a sister, and their dynamic with their interesting mom, and how they connect with each other, and how they kind of vie for their mother's, how they each individually vie for their mother's attention. So interesting about how you can be raised in the same household and be completely different. Also recommending The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. This is about two Black sisters who are white passing, and one decides to go out into the world as a white woman while the other continues to live as a black woman. And you see how that choice affects them and the decisions that they have for the rest of their lives and their children's lives. So that's the Targaryen path. Maybe you want to head to King's Landing with Rey. After Crossroads Inn, you'll head to King's Landing where you're going to read a 5-star prediction. I hope that you guys have fantastic 5-star predictions that work out well for you. But after you head to King's Landing, you'll make your way to the Iron Throne where you will read a book about or featuring royalty. And for that, I have A Song of Race and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown, which is the first book to a Psalm of Songs and Silence, which is what I will be reading for my anticipated read. Karina is a princess who is trying to find her king, so she throws a tournament to find the next king. And this is also about Malik, who is entering the tournament so that he can get back his sister who has gone missing for a reason. Now, both of them need each other to win, but they kind of need each other to die as well. So then I have A Princess in Theory by Alyssa Cole. This is a romance where Naledi has been getting these messages, these emails about being the betrothed wife to a prince, and she doesn't believe it. And then this mysterious guy shows up who just does and says all the right things, and a cute little romance ensues with a little mistaken identity. Also featuring royalty, I have Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. This is about Fitz, who is the bastard son of the crown prince. He is raised to be useful to the royal family by being an assassin. But while he's growing up, he realizes he has this magical power that is used by the Farseer family, which is the royal family. And so he's trying to hone in on those skills as well as his assassin skills, and you follow this journey about how Fitz becomes useful to the royal family. And the last path is with me heading to Casterly Rock, home of the Lannisters. And for that, we will head to Riverrun, where the prompt is to read a book that you don't hear people talk about often. So my first pick is While We Were Dating by Jasmine Guillory. This is the most recent book in the Wedding Date series. This is a companion novel, so you don't have to necessarily read these books in order, but you know, if you want to, you can. If you don't need to, obviously, because I'm suggesting the last book in the series. This follows Ben, who works for an ad company, and he just lands a campaign working with movie star Anna Gardner. Now, neither of them are really looking for a relationship at the moment, but they fake one for the purposes of helping out Anna's career. And Ben is like, sure, I'm along for this ride. And so it has one of my favorite tropes, which is fake dating. And if you're in the mood for a little black love, here you go. Here's an option for you. I loved it. It's fun. It's cute. We talk about some real issues like anxiety and body image and pressures of just life. Then I'm going to also suggest Love in Color by Bolu Babalola. These are retellings of love stories told through history and in myths. And it's a fantastic read. It's very quick. Like I said, they're short stories. They're modern retellings of these love stories. Some are about Greek gods, some are about some folklore from various parts of the world, but they're all about different aspects of love, whether it's heartbreak or finding your one true love. Some of them have happily ever afters. Some of them are a little more ambiguous, but they're all really, really good. It's a good ride. If you're looking for a nonfiction pick for this, I have All the Single Ladies by Rebecca Traister. You can't see it because it's like white and lights, all that stuff. But All the Single Ladies by Rebecca Traister. This is nonfiction, and this is about overwhelmingly growing trend of single women in the US and what has contributed to that. We talk about economic factors, race factors, women having more autonomy over themselves. This was a fantastic read. I really enjoyed it, and so recommending it. Now, you're probably like, thank you for the recommendations, but what will you be reading for this? And I'm doing something I never do. I'm going to reread a book that I love. I never reread books, but this book has been on my mind forever. And if you've watched any of my videos, I talk about it a lot. But this is called A Death, a Life by George Pendle. This is the memoir of Death. This talks about how Death was raised. His father was like Satan and his mother was Pandemonium. How he frolicked as a child in the Garden of Eden. He finds a little love on the way, meets the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. It's a good fucking time. At least I remember it being a good time. That's why it's been one of my favorite books. And no one talks about it except for me. And so I'm going to reread this. I haven't read this in over 6 years. So I'll come back and let you know whether this was actually a good time. But this is my pick for a book that no one talks about. And then after River Run, we're going to head to Casterly Rock, where we're going to read a book with red on the cover. Super easy breezy red. I Can't Date Jesus by Michael Arsenault. This is a nonfiction memoir about Michael, who is a gay black man and his relationship with Christianity and the church. It is funny. He is hilarious. And it's very eye-opening read if you're not really sure how Christianity and being a gay black man intersect, if at all. So definitely suggest this one. Because I am probably a Jasmine Guillory stan, I'm going to suggest The Wedding Date, which is the first in the Wedding Date series, which is also the series that I talked about earlier, where I suggested it while we were dating. Ugh. Go ahead and pick up the series. I wish I could remember their names, but I can't right now. But this is about 2 people who meet in an elevator. One of them needs a date for a wedding, quick and in a hurry. And the woman in the elevator that he's with offers to be his wedding date. Again, fake dating trope. I love it. It's a favorite of mine. And romance ensues. It's a good fucking time. I loved it. Also, just so you can see how inclusive this readathon is, I have Red at the Bone by Jacqueline Woodson. There's no red on this cover except in the title. This is about an unexpected teenage pregnancy and the effects that it has on not only the mother, but her child, the father of the child, and the grandparents of the child. You follow these 3 generations and how they all kind of feel about each other because of this unexpected pregnancy. It's so good. It's very emotional. It's not a very long book, so it's a quick read. If you want to pick it up in audio, also fantastic. So yeah, Red at the Bone for red on the cover. And my pick is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I've been wanting to read this forever. Ray gifted this to me. And so I'm finally going to pick it up. I'm so excited. This is about 2 college roommates who try an experiment to see if they can get magical abilities. And so I think the experiment does not go quite as they think it will. And I'm so excited to get to this and see what happens. I really love V. Schwab's writing, so I think it's going to be a good time for me. Those are all my recommendations for the readathon. I suggest you go check out Ray and Dash's channels for recommendations. They're going to have, we all read so broadly and such a variety that I think that there is going to be something for everyone in one of these recommendation videos. Do you guys already know what you're reading for the readathon? I'd love to know down below. If you have any other suggestions, leave them below, leave them in the Discord, talk to us on Twitter and Instagram, all that good stuff. Keep a lookout for information about reading sprints. We'll definitely be doing some reading sprints over the 2 weeks that we're doing this. I'm so excited to be doing this with all of you guys, and until next time, bye.